And then also in 1927, you had the emergence of the Yankees. The Athletics won 92 games in 1927 and came in 19 games behind the Yankees. And they had changed the way the game was played. All of a sudden, now home runs were the big thing. And that really wasn't Walter's game. Walter was more of a, singles hitter and stolen base guy. Really, his game was more geared for the dead ball era than it was the live ball era. And I talk about that a little bit in the book. But in 1928, both Ty Cobb decides to come back for another year for the 28th season, and Tris Speaker is signed by Connie Mack, and then Mack also goes out of his way to try to get some more power hitters, because the discrepancy between the Yankees and the Athletics, which really was what he knew he had to beat the Yankees, and like Babe Ruth hit 60 home runs in 1927. Al Simmons led the A's in home runs with 15. So, yeah. And so so they know they needed to change the team and the way the game, because of the way the game was being played. So Walter's playing time in 28 went way down to the point where at the end of the season, he decides he's going to retire and goes to Chicago, worked for a couple of weeks for Sears Roebuck in Chicago at some desk job, and realizes that as much as he doesn't like sitting on the bench, sitting at a desk, he liked that even less. We were talking about a guy who, aside from being in the military, played professional sports. That's the only jobs he ever had in his life. So he reaches back out to Connie Mack, says, I want to come back. And there's this whole story in the book about how he had this dream that the A's were going to win the World Series. And so Connie Mack brings him back, contacts the commissioner. The commissioner says, okay. Walter joins for the 1929 season and is on the team when they win the World Series. He only played maybe 45 games that year. So he was really used sparingly, but he did get the full the full share of the World Series winning. So the A's won the World Series in 5 games over the Cubs, and he earned about $6,000, which his salary that year for the whole season was $7,500.